I've got a huge surprise and a shock for you all. Wham is behind. That's right. Mark your territory, mark your words, and mind them as well. Because something that I don't think people expected here is that Wham would be behind already in this series. Sort of has been grinding it out on the ladder. He's ranked 6th in the world right now, and I gotta say it's paying off. The way we just saw him play the last game, this guy is looking hot. Everyone needs to watch out because Sort of is quickly returning to the form that we knew him for in the build-up to Red Bull Wallalol 2022. Wham looks to square up with the Byzantines. Interesting matchup as well, as Sort of does have the Mongols. The best Dark Age rushing civ that exists in Age of Empires 4. And no, we're not going to do Gamba for this, but we will have Gamba for the upcoming series between B and me and Micah. Yeah, this is interesting though. Mongols, I mean, with this type of spawn, the berries being forward-sided, usually bad, but we're going to be seeing one of the newer builds. It's Hippodrome time. Love this from Wham. This is how you address the outpost rush. We saw this from Byzantine players, and you know, in some matchups, it's a bit of a gamble because the Civ might not outpost rush you and you would have wasted time. But against Mongols, it just simply makes sense. This Civ wants to outpost rush you. They're looking for any reason possible to do so. And there you go. Hippodrome is going to be on the way. I love this as well. Do you see what else Wham done? He started with the further away berries so that when the spearmen arrived, they wouldn't be able to hurt him afterwards. Now, it's funny because you can actually defend yourself against spears with Akratoy defense. You just don't want to waste it. The reason is, if your opponent goes for an outpost rush, you can use Akratoy then and rush it. But we have something a little bit different. Sort of, he's actually sneaking in towards the gold, which Wham, I don't believe has noticed. We're going to go back to the 2 XP just for the early game here. Sort of is going to arrive with extra spears. Yeah, he just double produced again. Wham. Oh, he used Akratoy. Okay, so outpost on the gold should be going up. This is like a very interesting choice, though, by Sort of. I mean, one of the big threats of Byzantines is they can kind of slimly sliver their way into castle in a lot of different builds. But this is a Hippodrome, which plays a bit different. You know, I don't think Hippodrome is about cataphract cheese like it once was. I think there's a lot more power behind Horsemen. And wait, he switched outpost. Oh, he goes for the Stone Dinar, but nope, he gets caught, and I love that. Wham. He doesn't strike straight away. He moves beyond the villager to try and pinch him. Looks like he won't be able to get enough damage down there, though. Wham didn't move quick enough between strikes. Sort of has got the Spearman to protect the villager, but unlikely that he will try for an outpost again. Wham, now already up in the feudal age. Sort of needs to catch up. Not a good spawn for Silver Tree, by the way. This is a horrible spawn for Silver Tree, which leaves him only one option. And in fairness, you don't ever really want to be doing Silver Tree against Hippodrome. It feels incredibly bad. The reason, guys, is that the workers, the traders, they have the worker tag. And if you have a worker tag, that means that Byzantines can just use Expilatores to get gold for killing your workers. So what ends up happening is you just spam out these traders really cheap. They're like, what, 90 resources? And your opponent gets a third of what you spent back for killing them, which they will do very easily because you can't wall your trade. So yeah. I would be shocked if you ever see Mongol players trying to do trade against Biz. Maybe if they have a very good defensive map like Hill and Dale, but for the most, it just feels like a recipe for disaster. Sort of, he's still trying. There's a lot of idle time being forced, actually, because Wham's running really far out to try and deny this. Instead, he says, screw it. If I'm going to be here, I'm going to do something. So he's actually going to go for an outpost in the corner berries. Not a bad choice here, actually, guys, especially considering that this is not a Grand Winery build, which limits Wham's ability to get mercenaries further. And yeah, agreed. AMD games in DirectX 12 are smashing the competition. The thing is, with a lot of DirectX 11 games, the logic now is that, you know, the hardware's raw power in a lot of cases will be good enough to just essentially handle. Okay, so what's the plan now from Sort of? Yeah, so he's going to be prepping Keshik. What's interesting is actually, when you use Triumph correctly, you can actually contest Keshiks with horsemen for the same kind of price. It's tricky because obviously it's like limited use type situation. You know, if you use the Triumph and the Keshiks run away, you just basically have no ability, no power. But that, whoa, wham. He wasn't expecting sort of to dive in against archers there. Great read by sort of. Gets himself a worker kill. Almost got 2. Hardened Spear is finding some value. I mean, he needs to as well. He's got 10 of them in total. In fairness, he has forced Wham into archers, which normally would feel a bit uncomfortable. Like, you'll normally want to wait for the mercs. But this isn't a Grand Winery build, so like it's not the worst thing for him to do. Does open the door potentially to go for something like Keshiks. I would be surprised, though. Normally, when you play Byzantines, you don't tend to build the unit against the Civ that can build it. Because it's just a raw numbers game. Like, you'll get out blobbed. The one exception, there was a really cool build a while back for Byzantines against English, where you would Lombo rush. But that was back before they nerfed the mercenary timings and changed systems. So we have got Wham now moving out for the stone. And oh no! He didn't realize! And he reacted so late, he ends up losing a villager. Not just that, Spiminar now going to arrive. That's going to be another worker kill. If he stabs it down right, but the body blocks. Coming clutch there. Khan is going to go for the dive. Will finish it off. A third worker kill now. Sort of starts to build a lead. Damn, this is impressive. And the marketplace would be Chugnu, which I don't think you really want here. I'm impressed, man. Sorta's playing this really well. Doesn't have any sort of eco-inflation himself, but hasn't really needed it so far with the damage being done, and has forced Wham's hand into those Lombo. To be expected, Lombos is usually the go-to. And this is the best of 3. Remember, this is in the round of 16. Man, sort of looks like he might just wipe Wham out. He's got to find a way to keep up the pressure. I like the micro there, just trying to drag the Keshiks in unnoticed so that he can heal and not lose them. The Limitane are now low. So yeah, we'll just snipe them down. Still, that one full HP Limitane is going to be Leonidas here. Yeah, good pull away, sort of. He actually would have ended up losing both Keshiks to that one spear. But this is classic sort of. We know he loves his raiding. You can see it clear as day with the way he just keeps poking back and forth, left to right, left to right, left to right. Really smart, actually, when Wham now has Lombos, which are also going to be slow to get into position anyway. I mean, in some ways, this is the expected outcome because Mongols are the best Civ, in theory, exploiting Byzantines with this Dark Age aggression he started with. But if we think back to that Dark Age aggression, you know, it didn't really feel like he got everything he wanted, especially when you consider it's a Hippodrome build. This is just sort of playing really, really well to still make it work. Wham has stuck the berries in the north now, so we'll be able to scale the Lombo count. Interesting thing here, though, with Deerstone, Mongols can actually compete against Lombos. If you mass archers with Khan Hunter and you get this Deerstone forward, you can just gap close on Lombos really quick. Keshiks. Oh, garrison will come through. And yeah, the comment about being unlucky with the trade posts being here. If you're talking about Silver Tree, like I actually think if people start Silver Treeing against Byzantines with Hippodrome, they will just kill them with Triumph and Explorators. It's like a very underexplored state of the game because trade just really isn't on the menu right now. But yeah, Byzantine Explorators is actually really effective against both trade civs and also pilgrims. The Knights Templar, the pilgrims are also classified as workers. Keshiks do get blocked out, so Wall's now going up. That does also give him deer. Sort of. He's playing onto his own deer. But we've got the horseman now starting to creep in. No Yam here, by the way. But sort of did at least go wheelbarrow. sort of. Hasn't been seen yet creeping in. Rover Wham hasn't been. He's going to jump in. Some low HP villagers there, and yet he realizes straight away. Great micro, and sort of he got Expilatores. So now getting paid gold to get these kills. Might be difficult to commit. The Yam plus the wheelbarrow is ridiculous. And yeah, sort of in a panic. Using the maneuver speed arrow. That does not work on villagers, by the way, folks. He's going to turn onto the gold. I think, yeah, he just saw another low HP one. Might actually get that one with the Horseman Strike. Yep, gets the kill. Well played by Wham. Gets a double kill there. Did lose more in the base, though. The Keshiks with a dive in. Kept it equal, so sort of maintains that free worker lead. I'm now trying to go for the frontal engagement. I swear these horsemen are so ridiculous. How many villager kills do you need for Expilatores to pay off? 3. It's an 80 resource tech. So if you get 3 kills, you're actually positive on your investment. So you get +2 against workers. You get 30 gold per kill. Like, Expilatores is such an incredible tech. It was slept on for so long. I was baffled when it got buffed, actually. Like, it was already seeing a lot of use, but it was seeing use in the late game. The change should have made it incredibly viable in the mid-early game now as well. Because in the late game, the logic is you have lots of food and wood, but not a lot of gold. Yeah, it works on, if I'm correctly, fishing boats as well as another one. So if you're playing Byzantines on a map like Frisian, and your opponent masses fishing, like Expilatores can actually get you kills. Like actually, I think Hippodrome on Frisian with Expilatores and Trapezites is pretty underrated. Because Expilatores gives you the gold for killing workers. And then Trapezites gives you all the extra burn damage, right? 25% more burn damage. So it's a really cool way of just running between the ponds, burning them down, and then killing the boats. Sort of. What a healthy lead here. 30 archers to the 10 lombos. Does need a few more frontliners here, otherwise it's going to be at risk. Just trying to address that with the Keshik spam now. You know what? You just saw that good old bump up with Gigabyte. And I am actually envious of anyone who's right now watching this broadcast on an OLED monitor at how good the colors look. Because I can see it on my monitor, and see it on my laptop rather, because that's a mini LED. I kind of hate how dry the colors look on my IPS. I need to get an OLED, man. Villagers again! And this is pay dirt right here. He'll make it back to the Yam now, so a little bit harder to catch. Some harassment attempts not going to work out. Looks like Wham is going to be securing the west side corner now. It's so annoying. Just a handful of horsemen and what they can do here. Because remember, like, the maths of it is really smart as well. So the other reason why Expilatores is so good, guys, is if you don't want to invest in mass melee, so you don't want melee attack 1, Expilatores is just a no-brainer. Melee attack 1 would cost you 125 gold, 50 food. Expilatores costs you 80 resources total, but gives you +2 damage. Now, the reason that number is important is that horsemen start off with 9 base damage. So villagers, they have 50 health. If you have Expilatores, it takes 5 hits. If you don't, it takes 6. And the other interesting thing with that is because it gives you a buffer zone of 1 extra damage, even if your opponent goes for melee tech 1, you'll still kill the villagers with Expilatores. Yeah, that's why textiles tends to be the better way of going. But sort of has resisted that. Wow, I'm able to keep them even now. 50-50. When it comes to the eco split, the difference, of course, is going to be Wham with those systems, which is why sort of might want to find a way of burning them down. Like these torching every building in range, remember, not only heals the cash, but also pays him every single building that burns. Archers now with the dive. Wonder if maybe sort of would benefit from just getting a ram timing going now. A little bit tricky into horsemen. Archers. I'm going to start step away from this. The horsemen now being held in reserve. Triumph charges are up to 18, so this will be a good time to trigger it. And there you go. Activates it. Wham. Now with the bonus damage. Looking good on the chase. Sort of. A little bit pinned here. Lombos not able to be accessed. No, the Keshiks blindly charge in and fail to connect. So the Limitane held in reserve, scaring him off, and sort of now booted out of the base. Great fight there from Wham. Phenomenal fight the way he played that. Yeah, just patiently biding his time for the Lombo mass. Pulls the horseman in at just the right moment, and Triumph, my god, does it pay off. Triumph that, he'll easily be able to stockpile up tickets for now again, because at the tail end of the fight, the Lombos are sniping off a lot of these archers. So prep the next horseman wave. Keshiks did go raiding again, so sort of able to get a kill or two there. Oh, does get pinned. Akratoy defense proving effective. But still, it's going to be additional worker losses. So sort of back up to a 4-worker lead. One of Sort's big problems here is going to be food, though. He hasn't prepped pastures. He's on his second D. He's got the boar afterwards. But remember, Wham is at least adding in some farms. Not a crazy amount, mind you. He's only at 6 deep. But he's now going deeper. Yeah, another 8 getting added in. And remember, the longer this feudal age goes, the worse it kind of gets for sort of if they are in even footing. Because if you're on even footing, it means that Byzantines are going to benefit more from this percentile buff. This is the thing. Biz is one of those civs that puts you on the clock. Right? You can't just look at the work account and say, well, that's the full story. Another thing to keep in mind is if you slow this down and allow those Triumph tickets to scale up, if both of you go for a big blob army, let's say 20 horsemen, 20 Keshik, with 45 seconds of Triumph time, you're going to be favoring Wham. Sort of. Let's get scared away. I think Wham is maybe a little bit paranoid that he's being greedy in some way. Checks that he's reinvesting and will probably be backing off shortly. Just wants to maximize the damage to those Lombos. And, the challenge here for sort of, we talked about the value of the Yam. He still hasn't moved that Deer Stone up at all. When you're approaching these type of fights, you're just seeing those Lombos, they just get way too much value on the initial assault. Because they fire first. Wow, looks like he is maybe thinking of steering to the north. No, I don't think you can go castle here. Not with the way that Wham's stepping up. If Sortov goes castle now, he dies. Like, it's a very scary army with the way that Sortov's playing the map. The other problem, though, is he's hiding in his main base, and the horsemen are going to take advantage of that. Wham sneaks on into the deer. Baits the main engagement, so he's hoping that Sortov's not going to be looking, but quick reaction there out of the Swede. But not going to be quick enough. Not against the Explorator's horsemen. Actually, maybe it... Wait, what? Did he not get a single kill out of that? It looks like he should have been getting 2 or 3. Return to the main engagement, though, and Limitana are going to charge back in. Lombos just kind of feel like they're taking over here. Horsemen still didn't get anything. That's ridiculous. Wham. A raid that should have been an easy hit, but sort of makes it anything but. Yeah, this is the thing. Wheelbarrow plus Yam is kind of insane. Villagers move at the speed of Onabu Geisha with those 2 choices. 1.49. Makes it difficult for horsemen to stick to their targets to get a second hit in. You can see the health bars are not pretty for sort of, but it's worked out. Wham. With that raid not working out, it looks like he's backing off for an age up. I'll go for the 2x speed as well. Just try to use a little bit 2x where we can, so that we're on schedule for the next live series. Sort of has the right idea. Wham backs off. Why would he back off like this? Either I'm much more favored to fight now, or he's teching. He's going to be sneaking to the west side. Now, remember, we've got a bunch of farms all the way at the back here. Wham's making a bit of a mistake, though. Yeah, stepping up like this, ill-advised. He's trying to secure the ball. He's about to discover why that's a bad idea. Sort of does show up at the walls. Horseman's still raiding. He keeps failing to find kills. Is it going to continue to be the pattern? It looks like, because the horsemen haven't even been pulled onto anything else. So Keshik's just getting a great fight here. Completely wasted by Wham. Golden Horn Tower now triggered. 35. Wham is in dire straits right now, and he knows if he gets scouted doing this tech up, he's dead. Yeah, it's just too many Keshik. So this is quite the gamble. Sort of has the right read, but the wrong location. If he only knew right now, it'd be a full dive. Steady idles off some farms. Archer's looking for some extra worker kills. He finds them, sort of. Doing a bigger lead, but now going to be an age behind. And remember, the veterancy does not take long. Wham! Just 10 seconds away from Lombos being upped. Keshiks and Archers are circling at all angles here. Sort of. Activates the attack speed arrow. Looks for the trade out against Limitane. Keshiks starting to arrive from multiple angles, but they need to be getting in. And they will do exactly that. They catch Wham running by. In fact, he runs them straight into the Archers. Wham! Oh my god. What was that? Was that a misclick? I think he maybe clicked on the system to repair it, or rather the aqueduct, and then just didn't run away. Whatever it was, that's sort of now with a 20 worker lead. And not just that, the Lombos aren't looking that great. Only 15 of them left alive. Strike comes in from the east side, sort of relentless in his pressure. I mean, this has been the story of the game, right? Raid, raid, raid. Non-stop out of the Swede. Every single time connecting for something. Little or big. In this case, humongous. We'll have to lead the base now. I think he's realizing that the Lombo Limitane upgrades may make them a bit too threatening. So it might be worth slowing down, just playing for the castle up. I mean, he's in a great position here. 20 workers up. Essentially completely offsetting the Byzantine system power. He's starting to stockpile. I think the thing for sort of is he wants to keep Wham in his own base to slow down his castle age army scaling, but also so that Wham can't rush relics to recover. And also, remember, this was not a Grand Winery build, so he won't rush relics. No, you'd have to find ways to get into the monastery. Normally, we see with these Hippodrome builds, the monk timing is a lot later. Wow. We'll go to chase him away, but sort of has got something interesting coming. I wasn't expecting this. It's going to be Kurultai. Kurultai. Either your best friend or your worst enemy. It's a cavalry game right now by the looks of it. If sort of still had Wham pinned in his base, Kurultai feels really, really good. But if you can't keep him in there, Kurultai is going to be a mistake. Yeah, I think sort of before that dive, when he had 40, 50 archers, Kurultai is actually game ending. But without it, the problem here is that sort of is playing Keshiks mainly now, not archers. And Keshiks do not play well with Kurultai at all, guys. The problem is you never tend to stay on the location of Kurultai. Like, if you do, it's because your opponent's basically feeding the game. We'll see if he's able to leverage it. Like, my big concern here is, yes, you do have a 20 worker lead. But with step readout, you could have been even further ahead. Wow, I'm now just getting the cataphracts. Does force sort of's hand into crossbows. But this is the thing, like, Kurultai, I think someone that gets glazed over with Kurultai quite often is you almost have to think of it like you do Burgrave. In some ways, it's a better Burgrave because it comes back later in the game very useful. Right? In hyper late game, it's phenomenal because when you're popped out and you can maybe linearize the engagements, having a 20% damage buff is huge. But at this point in the game, you can't think of it that way. Like, at this point in the game, when your army is very small, it's hard to get full value out of that 20%. I like these at least squaring up. My only concern is, imagine if he'd done this with the Deer Stone as well. Villagers? Sort of. Oh, he was going for the ball. We'll get caught out. Come on. Able to get some much needed worker kills. Damn, that's crazy. I can't believe that. Sort of. He just assumed that Wham wouldn't go for the ball. He just assumed it was going to be more farms because, of course, you want more farms. You want more mercenaries, no? props to him. Wham, just this build, leveraging a lot of non-olive oil food sources. Kurultai, man, like we talked about, it's difficult finding its place in the fights. Well, it is struggling to even deploy in the fights now. This one cataphract. No, man, this is ridiculous. This happens way too often. Cue up the Crackety clip. Lombos will snipe out the archers. The cataphract are beating the Keshiks. And this game-changing Kurultai is changing the game the wrong way. Let's give it Wham the edge. Unbelievable. Wham. We'll just continue to chase him back. And he also revealed that he's going Relic, so I wouldn't be surprised if Wham tries to now mirror that. In fact, yep, there you go, Monastery. Nothing like seeing someone else go monks to let you know it's time to go monks. Needs to be a little bit careful with this retreat. Because the problem is Lombos means you can't actually run away. Not to mention the Yam is going to allow your opponent to gap close. Not many cataphracts here either. Wham has got more, just didn't rally them towards the fight. Damn, what a game. How is Wham not just dead after what has happened in this game? How is he winning these fights? Triumph again. Just a little bit of rejuvenation on the injured cataphracts. Good chase down as well. He almost moves as quick as Horseman with this ability. Does see the crossbows now arriving, so that might make him think twice about the engagement. I'm putting quite a lot of food in reserve, actually. Needs to decide where he wants to go with that. Well, that's the thing. Swordov isn't a new edition. He's actually an old edition. So Swordov used to be present in Age of Empires 4. It's just he went back to StarCraft, but he's back and he's looking as strong as ever, man. This has been impressive. I mean, props to Wham for just still being alive. He shows you just how good of a Civ Byzantines are. I don't think any other Civ would still have been alive this far down. Maybe Lancaster if they built the manors, but that's about it. Farm count for Wham, still not crazy, only 17. But I think that's not going to change. The boars ran out. The problem for Swordov is I think he's in a similar position where, yeah, okay, he's already made his transition. Props to him. Pasture's already set up. Wham does have to worry about gold. You maybe... I mean, you could just play towards the 8k, actually. You got stone for a castle drop, I think? No. Yeah, no, there you go. He's fine. He's got loads. Wham. Hold on. Army is hiding in the base, right? Yeah. But the army isn't exactly impressive. It's only 9 crossbows for the cataphracts. Like, kind of ignore the Keshiks because they will get ignored. You can just dive past them with trample if need be. Not to mention a lot of them are busy raiding. He did manage to burn down one of the outposts. Still, army's neck and neck, but military value miles ahead for Wham. You can see it actually in the army value in the corner. Better bows, better cavalry, now crossbows as well. Relic game is also looking like it could lean Wham's way. The best Castle Age 1-pop unit in the early hand cannons that you get from Hull? No. They would be the Gilded Crossbows. Gilded Crossbows would probably be the best 1-pop. Generically applicable anyway. Actually, House of Lancaster hand cannons, early hand cannons, are pretty sucky. Oh, wait, you're right. Yeah, sorry. We said 1-pop, not 2-pop, right? Probably cataphracts for 1-pop. Oh, charge coming in. He has got the Yam, so he should be able to start a step. But the Kurultai is... This is the thing with the... This landmark never makes it on time. Guys, we all have that person who says they're fashionably late, okay? But we all think they're an asshat. Kurultai is the asshat. Oh, guys, I know we were meant to meet at noon for luncheon, but I just had to make sure that my outfit adjustments were correct before showing up. I had to leviosa the fashion at this delightful dinner. That's a Kurultai for you. Never there when you need it. Wow, now just going back on the raid again. I mean, it's weird because sort of a Kurultai should just be able to go in and fight. But because these raids keep coming in, he's reluctant to move up. And then he has to always warp the Kurultai back every single time. Now, upside is it's at least a healer. So, you know, over time you should be able to wear Wham down. Downside is Wham has gap closed the eco difference entirely. Because the system buff. It just puts Byzantines ahead. I do like this from Sword Off though. He's going for a raid again. He's trying to creep in. Needs to get some Limitane back here if Wham wants to feel safe. Army is blocking on the north side, and we do have a secure, so he did go for the 8k in the end. Nice intercept here. Archer's able to get a good fight there. Sword Off now building a military lead. Looking to build that eco lead again. Wham will rally reinforcements over here. Limitane there as well. With the teardrop shields, they could have good chase. Keshix are going to idle those farms. Cataphract mass from Wham does charge in, though, and it's going to find them a little bit split up. Yeah, sort of. Wait, he's not even moving the main army. It's a good raid. Wham able to trade out well up here. Needed it after the out of time in his base, but the Keshix also going to take the L on the offensive. Sort of doesn't actually have that much heavy cav left. No, like this is becoming a game about heavy cav, and sort of is losing. Big. 10 Keshix to 18 Cataphracts. By the way, my mistake, he doesn't have teardrop shields. We saw in the spin movement speed. He doesn't have the armor. He can get the +1/+1 here as well for Cataphracts. I think he's also... Yeah, dude, he hasn't used the Triumph. It's just sitting there. He's got 45 seconds of Triumph waiting to be unpacked. Yeah, the thing that I think makes Cataphract the best Castle Age unit, one pop, yeah, it's not just the stats. I mean, it should be in contention for best considering the price of it, right? It costs you 330 resources. But the other thing is Trample. Trample isn't just an attack ability, it's an escape. Right? It's a beam me up, Scotty. When things go bad, you trample out of a bad fight. Not even French Knights can do that. Villagers, oh my god. He caught him before the Sprue emplacements got set up. Oh, that's brutal. That's sort of, he needs this gold. That's his only option. Somehow this relic has still not been picked up, by the way. Cataphracts are going to clear all emplacements. Sort of tries to spring into action to protect one. Okay, so he will rescue gold. The problem here for Wham is like he doesn't have the full army here, and he doesn't want to. He just wants to slow the game down. Remember what we talked about here. You have got better scaling via the efficiency of systems. Karganet is your one true worry, but sort of hasn't really been able to hit that timing. Will be a retreat home, back behind the walls. Sort of continue to give chase here, actually. We'll catch him. The single gate actually punishing Wham, but reinforcements are rallying, and we do have the activation of the Hippodrome. Here we go. It's chow down time. He's still holding onto the trample. Brute forces the melee line and can now hard commit. Sort of. It's an overextension. The trample goes on in. The charge through. The body block connects. He holds the retreat. That was key. Wham. Just an inch of difference there. Sorlov didn't stagger away fast enough. So it made his life a lot harder to retreat. Kurultai buff is now going to be there, but the numbers most definitely are not. Attack speed arrow gets activated, but the front line is just too tanky here. Wham is going to break him, sort of. He finally gets the fight with the Kurultai, and he can't take it. And that is why we call it a Kurultai. So often, these are the type of games you will see at the highest level. Good players don't give you good Kurultai fights. You have to earn them. And Wham's constant pressure down the flanks meant this sort of never could. Now the Kurultai will fully embody its namesake as it's getting taken out. Yeah, once you pack up, longbows do full damage. He knows it's worth the commitment just to stop it from deploying, to chase it like this. Sort of tries to scramble into action here, but the Kurultai once again, come on! It's just not going to do it. The trample through to waste more time. He can't deploy it. Frontline's dead again. This landmark is never going to deploy. I freaking can't. Even the spearmen are now going to stop it. Nothing else matters. This whole game has just been, for the last half of it, a story about Kurultais. And the story is, nobody likes him. He's had the hardest of lives, you know. Finally, he's deployed, but he's on fire. And the army is just non-existent. Sort of. Oh my god, the horseman raid as well. Remember, he's getting paid up for this. Look at the gold. Villagers have nowhere to go. Sort of villager lead that he done such a great job building. Remember, he had over 20 villager lead at one stage of this game. Is gone. He's behind. He's dead. Wham, in a position where he can now go Imperial Age while still attacking. Means we will get one more game, a deciding game between these two in a best of 3. Sort of. He was just so close to eliminating one of the most consistent grand finalists that KPMM has ever had in the round of 16. But in the end, Byzantine late game will shine on through. I'm impressed by it as well. The way that Wham always found the gold necessary for Cataphract spam, despite Sordov's presence in this game, was the biggest shocker to me. Didn't feel like Cataphract spam should have been possible. But also, it didn't feel like this little Kurultai could.